Hello, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hi, how are you?
Hi, good. What would you like to say?
I served with the NATO. I didn't serve straight away with the British troops, but I seen the capability of British troops and Americans. And I lived in Russia and I lived in Ukraine. And from what I know is, honestly, there is no point putting British troops and French in there because without America, Europe is in trouble. We all know this. And if you're talking about soldiers going out there, and you remember the NATO was when British troops were part of NATO in Afghanistan, you've seen how many people come back, dead or injured. It was very, very bad for those guys. But I'm sure the way Americans can look after their veterans in this country is not the way they're talking about it. So basically, I think Keir Starmer is better to focus on bringing more work in this country, manufacturing. And I think what Donald Trump is trying to do to break the marriage between China and Russia, to get Russia out of this and then deal with China alone. So that's what I think.
Well, there's a lot to tackle there. I mean, you may be right on Donald Trump and Russia and China. I've got absolutely no idea. I doubt whether many people do. I don't really agree with the rest of what you say, because you're essentially saying, I mean, you made the analogy with Afghanistan. I mean, if that wasn't a just war for Britain to be involved in, I don't know what was. Now, you can make all sorts of arguments about what happened at the end of it that made it all seem not worthwhile, and the hundreds of British service personnel that lost their lives did it for nothing, given the way that we left Afghanistan.
And you know why it didn't come to nothing? Because American pulled out.
Yeah.
The German wanted to stay there. So basically, whatever they did, look, I am from Afghanistan, okay? NATO, with all its firepower, could not fight with people with no shoes, only motorcycles and AK-47. How can they fight against the Russians? They could not. For the last 3 years, Russians were fighting against nearly 50, 60 countries.
Well, people
I don't want to say that Putin was right, what he did, okay?
Yeah, well, I'd advise you not to do that, yeah.
No, I don't want to say what he did, but he's been pushed to this because...
No. We've been through this hundreds of times. He was not pushed to do it. He chose to do it. He thought he would be able to conquer the Ukrainians within 3 days, and they haven't got any more land, really, than they had in the first few weeks of the invasion. So the Ukrainians have shown that it is very possible to fight Russia, but they've needed the help to do it.
Okay, I think Russia and Ukraine have been basically pushed under the bus.
You think what?
I think Ukrainians been pushed under the bus.
By whom?
By all these people that they push the button and hope for the best that Russia will collapse, like Yugoslavia, and they change it to 50 countries, and then they go and then still get every energy and then oil and gas for nothing.
Well, if anybody's pushed Ukraine under the bus, it's Donald Trump.
I don't want to talk to Donald Trump, but I want to say is that this country, I love this country. I live there 30 years. That's my home. I work hard. I just want to say that the way economy is now going, it's bad. But for my children, but you now, you're in a good job, you get a pension, but who will pay my pension? We have to focus bringing back the manufacturing. I mean, look, in this country now, they can't make a toothbrush, unfortunately. But it was the pioneer of making all this industry.
I'm sorry, you're talking absolute rubbish. Britain is still the 9th biggest manufacturing country in the world. This myth that we don't manufacture anything at the moment is just that, a total and utter myth.
But it's getting poorer and poorer because of all these pushing wars everywhere. Why we need war? We need peace. We need harmony.
Well, I'll tell you what. You come from Afghanistan. You ought to know very well why sometimes you have to go to war.
I grew up in the war. Yeah, I know what war that made me.
So therefore, surely you more than anyone ought to understand that sometimes you have to go to war to defend the right thing to do.
Yeah, but if you have nothing, you have no power, no money, nothing. What you do?
Oh, for goodness' sake.
You can't feed the people in this country.
We're the 6th richest country in the world. We're the 6th biggest GDP in the world.
We're on money out of pensioners, out of disabled.
Yeah, and that's a choice. That's a choice.
To give it to Ukraine.
I've had enough of this. I'm sorry, Aziz. You were completely barking up the wrong tree.
And see the Ukrainian cars. number plate of Ukrainian cars.
What are you on about now? Ukrainian cars. What's that got to do with the price of fish?
Come in Knightsbridge and Berkeley Square, see the cars that the Ukrainians are driving, from all the money that you get from pensioners, and give it to the people in there for Zelensky.
Oh, my goodness. Goodbye, goodbye, Aziz.
Honestly, this is what I'm saying. I think
absolutely pathetic.
And Ukraine is the most corrupt country in the world right now.
Absolutely pathetic. 7:47.
This is LBC.
7:49. You know, I'm absolutely raging about Aziz. I mean, he said he came to this country from Afghanistan 20 years ago. So basically, we rescued him from the Taliban. And yes, he said he loves living in this country. Well, so he should, because we've given him the freedoms that his own country denied him. And Aziz should understand that sometimes you have to take to armed conflict to defend freedom. And I would have thought anybody that comes here from Afghanistan, they ought to be the first people both to know this and to appreciate it. And then those ridiculous things that he said at the end of that conversation, basically ridiculing the country that has taken him in. I mean, I'm sorry, Aziz, but you made an absolute fool of yourself in that conversation. And I think you're an absolutely shameful human being. Let's go to Raj in Manchester. Hello, Raj.
Good evening, Iain. How are you today? You well?
I'm fizzing at the moment, Raj.
You entertained that gentleman for way too long. Way
yeah, well,
too long.
I think I did. Yeah, but then if you...
How can you say that? Slagging this country off after we've saved his life and giving him a job and giving him a career and giving him his kids and all that,
yeah.
and a new life, essentially. And then he's saying how terrible we are. Well, I don't know why you should go back then.
Well, I'm not saying that, Raj. You said that.
Anyway,
I didn't.
I did say that, yeah. Anyway, we digress. The reason for my call, Iain, is more around the whole point about how this could pan out quite easily. I don't think once a ceasefire comes into place and it all settles down, I don't think another bullet will be fired in anger. And over the years, 3 or 4 years, Putin will get back into it. His propaganda machine will start working, and it'll work on all the Ukrainians, and he'll end up back with a pro-Russian leadership. And all this will have been a waste of time, and Russia will put their arms around Ukraine again, and it'll be like nothing changed.
Well, that's the fear. That's the fear.
Well, that is the fear, absolutely. But there's nothing that we can do about that when that starts to kick into place. The propaganda machine is their propaganda machine. We can't counterbalance that in any respect.
Well, you see, that's what's happened in Afghanistan, isn't it? Where the Taliban are back in power, and you think, well, what was the last 20 years all about?
Well, again, I mean, look how many people have died on both sides, and it's going to be such a waste. And they've lost so many good young people, Ukraine have, in the sense of so many have emigrated, obviously 200,000+ to this country, and so many others around Europe. They're not going to go back. What are they going to go back to? And it's going to be such a waste of time that this ever happened in the first place. And I don't think, personally, I don't think Putin is looking to expand Russia's empire. I think at the age of 72 and having been in power for 24 years, why would he want to do that now? I just can't see it myself.
Well, because he said himself he wants to recreate the Soviet Union and their borders.
He's 72 years old and he's been in power for 24 years.
But some people don't really recognise the fact that they're in the sort of last stages. I mean, look, people live till they're 100 nowadays. Lots of people do. So I mean, he could be there for quite some time. I don't think he's in the best of health, but who knows? But he has ambitions beyond his current borders. He said it in terms.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, but I just don't think... I think this could all have been a complete waste of time and a complete waste of life.
Well, I hope you're wrong, but I hear what you say. Raj, thank you. Let's go to James, and you call it in Waltham Forest. Hello, James.
Hi, Iain. Thanks for taking my call. I'm slightly disappointed. I'm a big fan of yours. Slightly disappointed in your stance on putting boots on the ground.
What do you think my stance is? Because I haven't actually said that I agree with that.
No. You basically said that you're a 63-year-old man with a hip problem, so you don't want to go.
Well, I couldn't, even if I wanted to go, no one would want me.
You're prepared to put other young men on the ground, Iain. So
no, I haven't said that.
Is null and void, really.
I haven't said that.
You're not able to go. The other thing, Iain, is that you dismissed the earlier caller as soon as they mentioned the name of Jeffrey Sachs, the man who has been there from the beginning. He has been there, but you dismiss it as if it's nothing.
Do you know why I do that? Because everyone who is a Putin apologist quotes him.
Oh, yeah, but okay, so that's it. So you don't want to listen then? So
Well,
just because someone disagrees with you,
No.
and they come from the other side, you want to just dismiss it.
Well,
you don't want to give it any...
I'm not interested in hearing from Putin apologists. Not
No,
interested
why?
at all.
Why,
No,
Ian?
I'm
Why?
just not interested because I
you gotta
regard
listen
this
to
man.
both sides.
I regard this man as the enemy of
you
our
know
country, and I don't particularly wish to listen to people
No,
who support him.
Putin personally, do you?
Of course, I don't. Don't be stupid.
Exactly, you don't. So why would you not listen to someone who has met him, talked to him, been in contact with him, discussed with him, and was there from the very beginning? Why would you not want to listen to first-hand evidence?
Because I'm not interested in somebody who
of course you're not
who
interested.
all the supporters of Putin quote adoringly. I'm not interested.
I'm not adoringly. I want to hear the truth. I want to hear every aspect.
Well, I
But
don't
you're
think
not
I
interested
don't
in that.
think you do. I think you want to hear
I
the.
do.
I
want
think
to hear everything because I want to know what's right for our young men to do.
And what do you think is right?
I want to hear from both sides.
No. What do you think is right?
I want to stop young men from going into war and being killed for the wrong reasons, as what happened in Afghanistan.
Then you
what
should tell
happened in
Putin he shouldn't
Iraq.
have invaded Ukraine, shouldn't you?
Well, and America should not have invaded
Oh yeah,
Iraq.
here we are, the whataboutery. I'm all
Yeah, we
prepared
should
for
not
it
have,
because that's
should
all
we?
we get
There
from
was
people
no
like you.
weapons of mass
People like
destruction.
you who are
So who
just
do we
interested
believe, Ian?
in
Should we
defending
believe you?
Putin.
I'm not defending anyone. I want to know the
No,
truth.
I asked you a question. Do you
I'm
think?
not defending anyone.
No, you are defending.
to know
You're
the
effectively
truth.
defending Putin because you won't answer my
No,
question.
I want to hear both
Do you
sides,
think?
Ian.
You've said
I
that
want to hear
10
both
times now.
sides.
Do you think that Putin was justified in invading Ukraine?
Well, Putin warned NATO not to put their troops into Ukraine.
And they didn't.
He warned that for
There were no
1992.
there were no NATO troops in Ukraine.
Yes, there are. There are American troops there now. There's NATO troops there now.
There were no NATO troops in Ukraine
Yes.
at the time of the invasion or before that, as you well
Yes.
know.
Yeah, no, I don't well know that, and neither do you.
I do know that.
Because, no, you don't. No, you don't. You don't know everything.
So you think
I respect
even if there
you, you don't know
were,
everything.
will you shut up for a minute, James? Because
Of course,
otherwise,
of
I'm going
course.
to cut you off because I'm fed
Of
up
course.
with the fact that you don't even know how to debate.
Oh,
Do
okay.
you
All
think?
right. I don't know how to
Okay,
debate.
goodbye.